Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap live trading webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. Today we have JTrader, Stocks Trader. We have this every Wednesday. This is Bruce at Bookmap.
He will
today
be going
we have
through
JTrader live trading in his positions in stocks. This is all part of the Bookmap education that you get. It's all free. First thing that we have is the educational course that's online, and then we go through that course content in the live analysis webinars Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. so you can apply directly what you've learned from the course right in the live market and put it to the test. Then we have the live trading with JTrader, Stocks Trader, and on Thursday, Futures Trader live trading with Scott Pulcini. So pretty in-depth educational offerings here that we think you can benefit from quite a bit. All right, so let's go through the disclosures and then we'll jump in. JTrader will be in a few minutes here, so we'll go through maybe the S&P for a little bit before getting to JTrader. So general disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump over here and take a look at this S&P. This is typically what we do. Most traders want to look at the S&P, so that's what we do. However, it's up to you guys. Every time it's up to you guys. What do you want to look at? If you want to look at stocks, if you want to look at cryptocurrencies, we can do that. It's based on the majority here, what people want to look at. All right, so what do we see here in the ES? Well, we can see some volatility in here. And market structure in here. Well, let's cover the market structure. We've been covering market structure, and I want to focus more on market structure. I got some feedback from you guys yesterday about the market structure. Half of you, more or less half, a little bit more than half, need a better understanding of what it is and how to use it. It is a key element here to understanding price action, price movement. So market structure, it just means areas of consolidation, breakouts, breakdowns, trends, whatever it is, but price structured in specific areas. So we understand the price structure. So for example, right now, we can see that we're starting to break down a bit. All right, where are we going to go? How about high liquidity here at 90? And this is where these guys in the structure over here broke out from. All right, so let's see if we can get more sellers in here right now to reach what? Well, see as I zoom in, I get much more information here. Well, we already traded into high liquidity here at 94 and they got filled, and they're still here, right here. So they want to be buyers. They're bidding up in front of 90 here. See them bidding up again in here. All right, this is where we look at structure. Okay, this area in here is what we're looking at. It's a trending area also, but it's been going kind of sideways in here for a little bit since 10. And then we're looking at the order flow within the structure. We just got a lot more insight by zooming in and seeing that 94, wow, they transacted. It went a little bit lower. They're still transacting in these areas. Now they're bidding up. So this area at 90, yeah, it may still trade here, but we got to find a lot of sellers in here first, tackle and take on 93 and 94 in here. Okay, and you can see the reaction already. They're bidding up and we're finding buyers. All right, so all right, well, where are the buyers going to take it? Well, there's liquidity here, and it was already in the book at 98. Okay, we also have 4,000 the figure and 403, a lot of liquidity up there. All right, so when we start to understand the dynamic here of the order flow within that structure, this is where we start to understand where price might go next, and that's where you can start to develop strategies around understanding order flow, and that is an edge. All right, so yeah, they're still bidding up here. We're still finding some buyers here, so let's see them trade up into 98. We already got into 98 a bit, and we're still making higher, even in this little move here, higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so now we're breaking it. Now we're breaking it. Okay, down to 93. All right, let's see if we can. Now I'm looking for, see the sellers come in. Okay, they traded into and through this area here. If we can come back down here to 93 one more time here, I'm looking for them to break it and trade down into 91 and 90. All right, instead, did we make a lower low? Yeah, actually slightly. So this is becoming a more complex structure here at the moment. Okay, so it's right in this area here. Okay, right when we saw this move into 94 actually. Okay, this is the structure we're currently watching, the order flow. Okay, buyers back up above it, back to 98. Yeah, you know, looking at the structure in here, there's both buyers and sellers in here. So this is what are we gleaning from here? Well, not to do nothing basically. Okay, we're not seeing an edge right now. Okay, we're looking for some sort of edge in here, like these sellers here. If we got the retest back down here and saw sellers again, then we're looking for the break. Now here they go again. Let's see if they can. We'll see the battle here at 93. This is going to be the key element right in here, the key area. Good morning, everybody. Pro K, JC, thank you. Good morning. And over in what do I think about coin and NVIDIA? Well, hold on just a minute here. See our sellers? Looking for them to break it now into 90. All right, this is easier. Okay, would love to see the bid or the offer. I'm sorry, the offer show more action here, and then looking for the break. Yeah, there's some details in here I should cover as well, but yeah, that would be the primary scenario, is looking for the break here. Okay, into 90, and then let's see. Now it's been going back and forth in here for a while. Okay, so what if it breaks 90? Where next? Well, low of the day here, 87. And then what about other areas here? Well, let's take a look. 75, 60, these lower areas here. Okay, so here they come. Now let's see the follow through on the sell side into 90. Can't do it. Can't do it. Buyers coming in just below into 91 here. Okay, so still looking for it unless we break above here at 95 on some pretty strong buying. This is more complex structure, guys. I want to mention that, and it looked easier right in here. Okay, it did move. We did get the move down lower here. Now it's starting to break some of these other little swings in here, and we're doing it on some buying pressure. Okay, so now we're coming back up here and looking for into 4,000, and we'll see what happens then. But we're looking for a stop run too. Okay, because all of these guys in here selling, we talked about this in detail, in length yesterday. Okay, and looking for now above the swing here, and then back up into, yeah, just above 4,000 here, 401. All right, this is a good example. Before JTrader jumps in, I just want to mention then. So there's the move. Okay, so This is the opposite scenario. Now look at the flip of the order book and everything in here, and there's our stop run too. Okay, I want to mention why. Well, we know that why this one was a little bit easier in here because of the selling, and they're breaking it, the low here, and we can see the structure in here: lower high, looking for the move lower into 90, and then even lower. Well, what happened? You know, the buyers came in back up above. I mean, you can see them in a microstructural area here above this selling here on buying pressure. Okay, so we covered this in detail yesterday. This is the trap. And this is the next move into this swing here, and then there's even buying pressure above that. Okay, so then we're looking for the 4,401. All right, now that's the opposite scenario, but let's go through why we're kind of sitting on our hands in here. We're looking for something that has higher probability. Once we see the move into this kind of 94 and 93 area in here, and we know that there's buyers in here as well, and they break this here, you know, it's starting to make this structure a lot harder to read. When it's harder to read, and we don't know who's in control, taking control in these areas in here, that's when we just don't do anything. Okay, we're looking for something that gives us more insight, and that, again, these are not trade recommendations. It's just looking for insight for the probability of the move. That's it. We're reading the order flow within the structure here. Okay, even this structure up here, they slightly broke it, but it did not accept whatsoever. Okay, so we could see now, this is the important pivot. Watch to see if the sellers come in right here at 94, 95 and hit it hard. Okay, looking for that scenario, and then looking for 90 and below. All right, so are they going to do it? Now, again, is this really high probability? Well, we just know there's both buyers and sellers in here, and it makes the reading of the order flow a lot more murky. Okay, we're looking for clarity. And if we don't know, well, then why would we, you know, look for it to go a certain way? We'll go through the scenarios, but overall here, if we can break this on big volume here to the sell side, then we're looking for it to go lower. But it could also break into here, be a false breakdown, and come right back up and auction at these areas up in here. Again, you know, the scenarios here. Going through the different scenarios, going through and trying to gain some sort of clarity from the structure here. Okay, so in fact, we made a lower high in here, and we made a higher high here. All right. Okay, so let's look at our trap right in here. Let's go through the scenario. What if, right? What if buyers can get back up above here, 94? Right, so here's the move into 90. Okay, and sellers coming in pretty hard here. A lot of liquidity down here between 87 and 85. Okay, sellers got it here. I mean, strong selling, pullback, strong selling. Okay, looking for high liquidity to fill. It is. Okay, lower high here. Again, looking for sellers right around here, 87 and a half. Sellers right there, and let's see the push into 85 and below. Now we're getting buyers. Okay, let's see the sellers right here. Nope. Okay, that would be scenario number 1, sellers here. All right, let's see if we another scenario here we can go through in trade setup here is look for now sellers over here to trade it back down to retest down here. Okay, down to 88 basically. We'll call it 88. Yeah. All right, now can sellers get below that though and continue? Anyway, guys, as you can see, like this is just more complex understanding, and we're looking for hello JTrader. Okay, he's in. He needs a couple minutes here. Oh, there you are.
Morning, Bruce. Morning, traders.
Good morning, Joseph. Let's guys. Well, anyway, just complex structures in here. Higher highs, lower lows. I mean, and it's just kind of all over the place. We'll continue on with our structure discussion on Friday. Let's turn it over to Joseph and get going with some of the stocks in here.
All right. So, Bruce, how was the morning?
We're just going through it and looking for some clarity in here, and it's just kind of all over in terms of some of these moves in here. Yeah, trying to gain some clarity in here, and not really getting much at the moment.
Okay. So, let's start looking today, traders, what we had. First of all, small caps, mid caps, and big caps. All right. A really big difference even in how we trade them. I'm going to share a few of the stocks we're following, and we're actually still following. And I will start from the toughest one of the day. So the point that we have rules is for when we have these kind of stocks. So NUWE, NUWE, is the biggest gapper of the day, around 150% gap today. We have a stock over here with 10 million float, right? 10 million float and a low institutional ownership, around 7%. So this already tells us something about the company, that institutions are not really interested in holding this long term. Over here we see the news announces new clinical data demonstrating 100% survival, blah, blah, in artery bypass patients. Okay, so artery bypass. I'm going to check also over here the burn per month. So they have basically a cash 15 million, right? So this quarter, they arrive with 50 million cash, but they're burning almost 1.5 million per month. So we're talking about almost around 10 months, more or less, of cash. So a stock with 10 months of cash is very small cash, has very small cash. If you do this, for example, on Google, on Amazon, you will see different parameters. We don't have over here a history of previous gaps. You can see over here is basically flat. Now, I want to check before digging into the 1 minute chart. Okay, I want to check over here our daily. And this is our daily. So we have a recent IPO. We have a stock that started over here with a peak at 670. Yesterday had a low at 230. This morning is gapping up and is pushing. Sorry, this is mob, new over here, pardon. So we have a stock over here that last year was around $4, faded until over here 0.40. This morning over here had a dip 120 and extended over here till 190. So daily chart, I put over here some levels of resistance, 250, this consolidation over here around 225, this low over here 185, and then over here we have in intraday resistance 160, more over here 145, more over here 125, and another intraday 133. So you can see here that we have a ton of levels on our chart. Okay, these are all the levels. And basically all these levels were breached really with a ton of volume this morning. And this is what happened. So I'm gonna put over here a little bit of zoom on my chart. At the open, we had a short pattern at this 133. So push into this pre-market high. Over here, we have at this point 133, the pre-market high, a little bit of sellers above, not huge amount of sellers, start to come down. And this is a usual pop and fill. So basically, you wait the moment that you don't see any more buyers. You see sellers over here jumping in, no more buyers. And you have your 10, 15 cents fill. But we're holding the support 115. Also, this is a J line 1 minute. You can see over here the entry long coming. But the alert that I called was over here this morning on a push that I will show. So we halted over here 140s. Sorry, actually we halted over here 139. We open, we dip into the 90 MA at 134. So we're going to look at that 134. You see over here, we have open after the halt, we dip at the 134, and then we start seeing buyers back in. Okay, look at those buyers over here jumping in. This is really fast, 137 to 147 instantly. And then we altered a second time. We altered over here 154. So a lot of liquidity. Look, those orders over here. This is the halt time. 5 minutes, if I can recon. Yes, 5 minutes. Over here we had another small wash. And we were at 946, this bar over here. You see the fast wash, the 90 MA. So every single time, what does? It opens, it dips, where? 90 MA. 90 MA over here. So it loves to dip into the 90 MA and then start bounce. You can see again, volume coming in. Every single time that push, that push, that push. We had a washout over here again at 155. And this is the level that we call the long, 161. And over here, it came to the 175. Actually, we had a peak over here into the 178. This level over here halted again. So this level that you can see, it had halted another time. So we were about over here, traders, at 3 halts today. Okay. So this is a stock that it will continue to halt trap traders probably all day. Okay. Over here, I posted long 171, sell partial 170, blah, 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 and etc. So looking for that alert over there. Why this alert now 953? I saw another dip into that 90 MA, and I was looking the support. You can see the support was breached, right? So big seller joining in. And you would expect that once we break the 90 MA, the price finally fails. What we have below half dollar number 150 starts over here to push with volume. Again, the same volume that we saw before, right? So those huge over here dots, right? Over here, huge blue dots joining. So we got long at the 161, main pushing over here, 170 again halt. 5 minutes halt again. So what happened? Popped. You can see over here the popped. Right away fail. And then halted the downside. Didn't finish. Look what it's doing right now. This is still holding. It's still holding, having a main fake clear out over here. So basically, you can recognize two main actions. One, fake breakdowns. Two, fake breakouts. Now target 1 minute J-lines. So I'm not shorting this. I'm not longing this right now. I want to look what happens over here at this 145. So these stocks that tend to hold the pre-market high, and again, remember, pre-market high is this level over here. I wrote holding pre-market highs. After 10 o'clock, even worse, 10:30, they're not going to be easy faders. By stats, 65% of stocks holding after 10:30, the pre-market high, so write it down. And this for June, July, August. 65% tend in the next 2 hours to have higher highs. Okay, so when we say about tracking stats, this is an edge that I tell you that 65%, if they hold the pre-market high, and also they have volume like this stock, all right, and it's a gap, in that case, it will, in the next 2 hours, have higher highs or create higher highs. So now we're going to look today, traders, for basically this stock, which is a pretty difficult stock to trade. It's very manipulated, both sides, but I think will be very interesting to read the order flow with this. Again, for who asked me, when you have halts over here, recenter to the last price, okay? So look what very good use over here of Bookmap 150. Dip, liquidity, that's already, you're long. Why I didn't trade this over here is because I'm looking for my J-lines over here and this 145. But these are all possible scalps. Why? Main support, halt, low level of before. You can see over here this line that I traced. Dip over here, and you look for a long. But now what I'm looking is more this 145. If we have the same pattern configuration, that will be a long pattern today. We traded Tesla this morning. We're going to go on Tesla. It was a nice juicy win. A nice volume, 150 to 165. So it's moving like around 10% on all these bounces. It's a pretty good volatile stock. I'm checking over here during the morning extensions. So I use my intraday scanner over here. And we have right now ALLK. So in a parabolic, almost parabolic action this morning. So that will be pretty interesting to watch. But we're going to look over here, traders, today at the price section and really how to use levels of supply and demand on stock trading using Bookmap, all right? So for now, we're going to follow Tesla, ALLK, NUWE, MOB, hour, you don't want to trade over here mid-range NUWE, so we're going to wait. In the meantime, we're going to share 1 second MOB. So MOB, we have traders a small float. The float on MOB is around 3 million. We have a stock that has SSR on, trade a ton of volume. It's an FDA approval. Sorry, my bad. That's another stock. MIB, Israeli drone tech provider Mobilicon stock jumps 31% in the early pre-market. The company held a 12 million US initial public offering, blah, blah. And what we are seeing before is basically the close of this public offering, initial public offering. You can see the price over here went from 660 down to 230. This morning bounced over here, right? So not really bullish news. I mean, what news is that? Okay. But market reacts like this. So what I liked this morning was a level of pre-market highs. MOB with Bookmap was, I would say, spot on. First in pre-market, because essentially we had a massive push over here. You can see from this $3 dip, we can put our support. And I always put supports or resistances at whole dollar numbers. So $3 over here, pattern. So breaking out, you can see the ton of volume over here jumping in on Bookmap. And once we got this first level of resistance over here at 830, 350, you can see over here the main massive resistance over here. Then we start to form lower highs. So this is 350, lower highs, and then started to unwind. At the open, this is really when it became interesting. We had a main fake clear out with also a nice sweep. So you can see the first push to this point, just above that pre-market high, dip into the 90 MA again. Second push right away, fake clear out. This is a fake breakout, right, of the 355. 355 area. So volume exhaustion over here. So buyers were trapped. At this point, we have no more buying, pushing, and every single seller jumping in, sellers or short sellers. And you can see over here the sweep, another sweep over here. So in about 10 minutes, we had this big wash. So lost like 50 cents in 10 minutes. Now a sideways action. What I'm looking is for an unwind. We'll be looking for a possible 330. Again, reclaim fake out in the same way we had this to recycle. But we're looking for lower targets like 260, 270 area. Okay. So we're looking for this 260, 270 down here. Let's go back to NUWE. And then we'll check Tesla later, because I want to check NUWE over here because the biggest gapper of today. We're talking about 160% over here, 160% gapper, 91 million float, so a 9-time flow rotation on this one.
Joseph, how is that possible?
The point, Bruce, is that it's not that best news in the world. So we're talking. Look at this. We can put a 4-hour chart over here. Look at this 4-hour chart. I mean, this is a beaten down stock. In one day, is getting back to levels of 1 year ago. And the point is a good manipulation, multiple halts, a great work by the market makers over here, because this morning they were very smartly holding dips, especially this main dip that we saw over here at the gate. I mean, look this, how they're rising over here, the bid. They start over here, this dip, rising the bid, halted over here. And then again, holding this level. You can see buyers again, rising the bid. And then again, small wash, holding the bid, holding the bid, holding the bid again. So even if it washes, like over here, there's some sweep, I believe, boom, we still have buyers. So they have like fake breakdowns and then they push back up. I believe that there's still like more potential over here to push to $2 today. So we'll be seeing that probably.
And that's just because of them supporting on the bid.
Yeah, I mean, buyers, there's an agenda over here. Buyers are coming steady every single dip, every single washout. Every single time over here, we start making higher lows. When we have a breakdown, boom, they bought it back up. So very interesting stock. And I think that by having rules right now, so for me, after 10:30, but 10 above the pre-market high, unless a main clear alpha parabolic, I'm not shorting these things. I'm just looking more to join for a long.
So, okay, I have actually a lot of questions on that. My first question though was like, how is it possible for it trading 9 times its float?
Okay, everything first of all is given from the agenda the stock has. So the market makers, the company, the big hands that are moving this could be only one or even more than one. The second thing is we have a stock that basically is finding a very good support already in pre-market. Doesn't have over here, if you look, we can put this. Doesn't have over here immediate dilution because we have a 13.50, the warrants. We have a 2.50, but what? 130K, it's nothing. And then over here we have expired, I believe it was expired June, no, kept by Bill shelf, so they cannot really raise over here anything more on shelf. So there's no actually in this moment capacity of dilution. If we look at this in the past, this loves to dilute. And we also know that the company has very small amount of cash. But volume, manipulation, big hands over here, they've done this. This market in small caps, especially for the month of August, was full of runners, at least day one. Just look at yesterday, MGAM or ENAB, INAB. A lot of these fail on a day 2 or maximum a day 3. So that's the reason why a lot of small cap traders who are only short, they're having bad time because they're just focusing on shorting day 1. If you are above the pre-market high after 10:30 or even 10, try really to embrace these for a long side.
So in this case, it's, I mean, from what we've seen in the past, when you look at this in the scanner and you look at the ticker, the news and also the cash flow and institutional holdings, usually you're looking to short. Here it's due to market timing and also the bid in Bookmap there that they continue to buy there, that you're not going to mess with it. You're going to be looking for longs.
Exactly. The main clue over here is having stats by your side, so analyzing what the market gave us. And this is 60%, 65% of these. When they hold the pre-market highs, after a certain hour, they tend to extend to new highs, 65% of these.
Wow.
All right, now this is becoming interesting. So we had a first wash over here and halt at 140. Yeah. So you can see immediate dump on these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main dots. So it passed from 160 down to the 146. And we're just at that previous level of support, this 145. So now we're going to look if this is going to open, pop, and if it does this and rejects that 145, this is scalp short with target 133, which is the pre-market high, or plan B, if we dip and right away reclaim over here the 145 and consolidate, possible push again to the upside. My point is never try to short over here the breakdown. Like never try to buy the breakouts. Because if you do this, you won't have an edge. And you're basically going to be, I would say, faked out the majority of the time.
So this is really interesting to watch your kind of evolution, Joseph, over the years here. I know that you had mentioned now that you have some coders working with you that are looking for statistical edges, and you are now integrating that within many of your strategies.
Yeah, the point is try to put less work on the emotional part of the trader and instead try to put more emphasis on the technical part and systematic part of trading. And that, I would believe, with a correct plan of risk management is the key of, trading in I would say, in the future.
That's
By the way, the team is amazing. The team, what is doing, so really props to them. I'm only helping them. They're doing the main job, so prop to them. Really beautiful, beautiful team.
Joseph, those are like quotes, sound bites there that we may have to like dig that up and quote you on that because it's just so important. You're talking about building confidence and an edge as a trader and less emotional by knowing exactly what's going on with the market and the statistics. What is most likely to unfold?
Exactly, because we have Bookmap, we have the chart, we can read the order flow, so we have already the technique. But then you have to know when the technique works, and this means like differentiating if it's a long or it's a short, and when to apply these setups. It's not that you can simply, for example, short every single breakdown or buy every single breakout. You have to really have an edge. And if you don't have like statistic by your side, if you didn't track and journal the market to see what's working, what's not, or even what's working not in different cycles, like if SPY is in a bullish, bearish, or sideways action, it still will influence over here the stocks, even if there are small caps, right? So by doing this, you have parameters that help you having an edge. Of course, stats alone means nothing because I can tell you by stats, stocks like NUWE will dump on day 2 or day 3. Day 2 or day 3, you can even blow up if you don't short at the correct time. So that's why I integrate both things. Having, for example, Bookmap. I remember 2 days ago in OLB, the all room shorted with 1 cent risk for about 45 cents average profit. So that was a 45 R return trade. Was simply sick because we were shorting exactly into a resistance with 1 cent risk. Then of course there's who short 1 cent, who short maybe 2-3 cents away. Okay, open over here on NUWE. Let's look over here, buddy. So it's opening and rejecting. So I see sellers over here. I wouldn't long at this point, not yet. Remember, this is an important level, 145. If we break this, we're gonna go down to the 133. I see over here for now more sellers. The resistance is 150. So it's a 50-50 move right now. There's no edge in shorting. There's no edge still in longing. watching this level of resistance, 150. A little bit more buyers over here. Rejected at those buyers, 150. They're trying to hold this 150. They're trying to hold over here the J lines. For me, there's no easy long at this point. Waiting. If somebody is short, I would simply hold short at this point. This is a good way from Carfid, shorting that stuff and recycling over here and holding short. This is more like, you know, advanced trading.
Well, this is now meeting your it's hitting your moving averages.
Exactly. And we're rejecting, if we can say like this for now, the moving averages, because we open below and we're having this. So let's see, Bruce, if we can have this pattern over here above 150 instead. So if we close over here above this level and we start consolidate, as we said before, then we can push again to the 180. And that would be really a squeeze, a second time squeeze for everybody. It was a trade over here.
Yeah.
Which one?
This. Yeah. This. But this.
152. So they reclaim in this case that 150 support. So now let's see if we can consolidate above 150. This will probably go back to 170, 175. So again, above 150 over here. TP 175. Not for a trade. Okay, so I'm not longing, I'm not shorting over here. But if we have a consolidation over here, 150, this is a very important previous support. We can go back over here to the 175, which is this level over here. There's not a lot of volume right now. They're just slowly grinding it. We have a support 140, 145, and 146, 153. No point over here to short absolutely. If short, trailing the money. But up here we have a possibility to get to the 175 if this consolidated and holds this 150. So they sold in the support 153, around 75, 77,000. Dipping again to the 150. Now we have more resistance 160. You can see the seller stepped in. And now this is the key moment. If we consolidate over 50, then we're going to have that 175. Right? So we need to see if we're going to consolidate this level over here. You want to see something like this. Okay, basically a lot of absorption at this point. The point is, for now, we don't have a huge heat map over here. So we don't have a main. Oh, okay, the buyer just came right now. Look. This is the bar I was talking about. So 150 over here, right? So now we have a 151 long with a risk at 150. TP first is 160, then 175. The reason why we have this long is this consolidation at a half level with a very big support over here. Now, if this support goes away, our trade also needs to, cut right away.
Yeah, the large lot tracker, that little white line on the at 150, you see it on in the COB column, means that one individual actor is holding likely 100,000 shares there.
Could be Bruce, maybe somebody that's spoofing. We don't know.
Could be.
For now, he's putting over there some very good liquidity. So if we got in 151, 152, Mahabir got 152. She already is 3R in because she's risking 2 cents. The price is 158. 160, she has the first half of the selling. And then we're looking for 175. So 160, so sell over here half at 162. So it's already 5R, 162. Sell half of the profit. And now we're looking for what? We're looking for this 175. So very, very easy stuff, right? We have a first resist over here at 165. So what I do, I start looking on Bookmap what we had before. I start looking at these levels over here of resistance and this level of here resistance. Okay, so we have some at 165, some at 171, and then you see the main wall of sellers up here. So right now you long at 152, you are 163, 164, you are 6R in for 2 cents risk. See over here some resistance 165 with that heat map, but still solid buyers coming in, you can see. We should have a push above 165. Bookmap over here was simply absurd. Just careful right now that we don't have anymore the big buyer. So, or the buyer was really having intention to buy 150, or he simply was spoofing because maybe he wanted buy this bounce, or maybe he was just looking for an opportunity to sell higher. So he invited traders to bounce and jump on the tape, make the price rise, and it's maybe selling over here. We have two possible scenarios. We don't know this, okay? Makes sense, guys? Also, if you have questions, you can write over here on the comments on YouTube. So over here was always above. This is not a good one.
Joseph, this is just, it's brilliant. I mean, like, you've got here everything aligned that you've been talking about, and you're putting it to the test. So what you have is looking at your statistics, looking at your pullback strategy, looking at the halt and then the reopen, and now you're looking at the details in the order flow.
Exactly. It's like a puzzle, Bruce. It's like a puzzle. So, stuff of this move. Now, update. This stock will stuff and wash out multiple times until it's done. So don't really be, I would say, anxious to get out entirely your position because you see a stuff, because we saw so many stuff over here and it still held over here. So this is the target, and then we're looking for this 175. Now you're 162. We can trail the entire position 158. Seems like curling Bruce over here. So I think we can push over here. If we hold, okay, 160, we can push over here to the 170. So I'm looking at this micro support over here. Then we're going to check again MOB. 160 over here, test 159. Boom. That's already your trailing over here. So the point over here is entering with 1 cent risk, taking your profit. So an average of around 5R, not a bad return. There's a possibility over here of a fake washout, so we'll see. For now, we have a selling order at 160. I also need to check 2-second NERV. Okay, going parabolic. There's a lot of opportunities in the market right now. You just need to have the precise strategy. So NERV was one of the main gainers this month, sorry.
Yeah, Joseph, these are not for the faint of heart.
So NERV, Bruce, is a stock. It's a multi-day runner. We can take a look at this. Every single day is moving, high liquidity. Minerva, Neurosciences, 70 million market cap. We have SSR on. The stock started the move a couple of weeks ago around $2. Now is at $15. And we're talking about the 5 million float with an institutional ownership of 51%, SSR today up. No major news. This is just an overextended play. Okay, we can look over here at the price section right now. And we can take a look also at the daily chart. I like this fake out over here, the 15, hold on a number for a small scalp, but we'll be waiting for more opportunities. So let's zoom out and let's put 2 years over here. So I'm looking right now at the most important levels that I see on the chart. Then I also can use volume profile. I can use the actual volume of bars. That 17 is a pretty good level of resistance. I'm going to check also the 4-hour chart. This is a good level of resistance over here, 1530 per done. We have another support over here, 1394. Another support over here, 1330. So I'm trying to get those main levels of support resistance that we had along the way. Okay, this is ready. A nice extension on this bar. So we have resistance at 1530, and the most important resistance at 17. Overextended play. This means that we are not on the backside. We are just looking for or a potential long this morning. And we're going to long on A+ setup patterns like this. This is a setup from my playbook. Or we're going to look for a parabolic move extension short. The level that we will be looking for attacking is 15 or 1530 on a main fake breakout. Look over here, Bruce, this stock. If you look at Bookmap, we had a grinding stock all morning. Remember, SSR really love to squeeze. This level over here of main supply, you can see that was the first moment that the stock really stalled. Okay. And we started to make first rejection, second rejection, a third rejection over here. And then they simply start, big bars over here coming in. And then over here, this small exhaustion move. Now, if I look at this stock over here, I would say, okay, I'm shorting at this point. Why? Big resistance. Okay. Also on a daily, I can tell there's a resistance. The price goes simply into this level and boom, stuffs, right? So rejects. Breakdown, level to short, basically like every single short setup that we have right now. Put a stop, and then you hold your position. Over here, once we have that, try to risk break even. And then over here, there's really a ton of volume. They simply remove all the shorts, and they start like pushing over here to this vertical move over here. That's the parabolic push. So now there's still no setup for short unless you took this push exhaustion until 1530. My bear started a position, but it's not an A+ position at 1470, sorry. See if we can reject over here the 90 MA. Not a ton of sellers stacked. I would like to see over here a little bit more sellers. Tesla new lows over here. Let's go back over here to NERV.
Joseph, I'm just kind of curious, in some of your filtering, do you also filter for SSRs?
You mean with Bookmap?
Well, for your when you start your morning and you're doing your stock filtering.
No, not necessarily. I just need to know if the stock is with SSR or without SSR. And I know that with SSR and high volume, a lot of shorts will be trapped. So short trapped means better opportunity to long and more patience, sorry, for the moment to short. And no, for me, SSR are really great opportunities. So I just want to know when it's SSR. Yeah, that of course.
Okay. Yeah, just kind of wondering if like the one that you showed there that went up to $15 from 2. Um, if you look at it, the news is good, institutional ownership is good, it's SSR. Do you hold that for multiple days?
No, no, I don't hold this multiple days. I tell you what, Bruce, a lot of these have a ton of dilution. I don't want to wake up with, a bad headache. Um, what I like to do is sell a good partial, so cash in, and then I can set, my trailing the money if I really have a very good average. This was a beautiful stock for SSR, small float, heavy flow rotation, high volume. When I have those three parameters, I mean, that's a perfect storm for long and, squeezing the shorts.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
You're welcome. So over here, traders, no trade for now short, no trade long. So we're gonna wait. And that's the opportunity, but we missed it. It came late. Let's go back on NUWE. All right. So this is a stock we were watching before. So who just came, it's a small cap. We're looking over here at a stock with around 10 million float. We have news this morning. Stock trap a lot of short sellers, especially the 130, 140, halted multiple times, holding the 150 level. Resistance right now is at 190 and $2 looking at the daily. This is the news of the morning. And on Bookmap, we have the majority of sellers stacked at 190, sorry, 175, 180, and 190. So here, seller are just like jumping in. Support before was 145, so no trade for now. We are here at the J lines. 156. $153. If we're gonna find another level of support, so another heat map like we had over here at 150, we see the testing of this and starting to bounce, we're gonna long this again. This over here, you can really understand what it is. This is a fake breakdown. This is a beautiful bull trap. Say it better. This is a bear trap in the sense that short seller jump over here and then they're getting squeezed. But also a level where longs get stopped out because they trigger over here their stop losses. So, you know, like some over here, some dump, reaction, bounce, and push it upside. So over here we have what we call the sweep, and then reclaim of that 150 and push to this upside. So let's see if we can have or the same pattern or 150 test, bounce, and then long over here.
Yeah, moreover, that's where you also had a halt.
Exactly. So we had this this here. We had also the halt over here at 178. This one here. Multiple halts this morning on this one. And it's still above the pre-market high. You know, we're not on the backside of the move. This could easily still trap and then push the upside. So let's see. $152. Watching over here for a possible dip buy. Let's see if we're gonna have that 150. If it's gonna dip 150 and start bouncing, we're gonna buy. Dip at 152, didn't come to the 150 waiting. Tesla short bias for today. We took a short at the open. Now waiting on that. MOB, fake out, we analyze. Now it's unwinding. NERV over here, showing some liquidity, but not anymore the A+ setup. So we have to wait or for 15.30, 15, or we're simply gonna avoid this. the good part of NERV is that if you're looking at the setups and the levels that we traced, this is the level that we put before. You can see how it's working, right? We traced this before. So some dip buyers to the 14, 1390, pushing this 1426, some liquidity over there stacked. But for now, no setup. $150 still not there. So patient traders. I don't see also any kind of big bars. NERV is going to the 1380, so fading over here. NUWE very, very tight.
I have some questions for you when you have a moment, Joseph.
Sure, Bruce. Tell me.
Pro K has been asking about what is the baseline for stocks, and he means like in futures, like the context of structure, and how do you do it in stocks? Well, no, I'm sorry, I'm just getting caught up here. It looks like you answered it. Yeah, and Pro K he has I mean very specific setups that he's looking for. And then he's asking, why are you watching Capital?
Why you're watching, sorry?
Capital? I don't know exactly what is meant by that.
I don't get.
Okay,
You can,
I'll wait for
you can
further
ask me better.
the market capital. I'm still
Okay. But market capital for what? I mean, we're trading mid caps, small caps, and big caps in stocks. So the patterns are different because the setups are different. For example, something like Tesla, Apple, Google is not really the same as trading today NUWE or ALLK or these MOB small caps. Setups are very, really different. If this is what we was asking.
Yeah, I think so. Gene over in YouTube is asking, do you trail your stop loss on the 9 EMA?
It really depends by the setup we're talking. But let's say we were discussing over here the longer NUWE that we took. So we got in at this 152. And over here is one looking at the price section, so with Bookmap order flow. The second thing is that for these small moves, using the 9 EMA, it's fine. So yes. But for bigger moves, the 9 EMA won't be enough. So there are so many other tools, also according to the different setups. For example, I trade something like 8 to 10 setups, and I'm talking for small caps. And I have preset targets based on my strategy. So it's very like systematic. I short here and I have to know that this is my target, this is my target, this is my target. Okay, so 9 EMA is a guide. I like the 9 EMA because I always use that on the 1 and the 5 minute chart, but other traders will use the 13 or the 20 or the 20 SMA. So everybody is basically different. It really works for me and the traders that I'm mentoring. So it's a good, I would say, average that shows you the, I would say that the trend, and often you can spot the dips or spot also the tops. What I like over here, traders, and when we say about the shift in momentum, is really this, that over here we don't see anymore any kind of buyers, but we start seeing sellers. So somebody is really pushing down over here the demand. They're just like, dumping into that demand. So right now we're in that support 150, 145. Remember before we had a fake wash down and then reclaim. So this is a very important level for our stock. We're hitting the support below 143. This is the previous support, 143. See now that we have sellers, 147.
So, Joseph, I know you're kind of in the midst of looking for a new setup on this. It would be good also maybe if you could go through your peeling out and trade management of the previous trade.
Yes, of course. So we can do this using Bookmap today. So when we are looking for the long position, before entering the trade, you have to have your targets. You have to know your stop loss and the size you'll be using. This has to be done before the trade. And of course, for the size, you have to preset the dollar risk per stock, per trade, and per the day for your plan before you start the day. So this is the level that we want to enter, 151 to 154. Why? Because we have our setups, which is a pullback in an uptrend, high volatile stock. The setup is this because it's track and it works. We have the buyer stepping in, giving us a very low risk between 1 and 2 cents. And then we're looking for this previous resistance of Bookmap. And then we're looking for that 170, 175, because they were other support or resistance on Bookmap. Once we get this level, we reject. Over here we have the break of the 9 EMA. So we can trail a first main partial. And then once we see that we start having over here a second breakdown and more sellers, we can start lowering over here our, we say, expectations that this will go to the 175 but we have to continue being systematic. So when we said 158 we're gonna trail, is because we lost the main support. 158 we can trail, or this level, and then you have a little bit more wider risk for trailing, or this level over here, and over here dumping everything. Both are good depending if you are a little bit more aggressive or if you are a little bit more conservative and you're gonna give a little bit more room to your trades. But of course, once we see the seller joining in, this is the main point of this chart. There's no main reason over here to hold the trade. We can always re-enter. And
Fantastic.
this is
Thank you.
another beautiful long over here coming up again, Bruce. This is another beautiful long coming up again. So we can see really another fake washout 2 times at that 145. This is another short trap. Why? Short sellers jumping in into the breakdown, longs stepping out over here because you see the breakdown, reclaiming over here J lines. Let's see if we now consolidate, and then we have a long for a first target 160, 165. So these levels over here, right? That will be the main target. But we need to see a little bit of consolidation, then we can trigger the long. That is why I said manipulation. It's not done. This is all has an agenda. Beautiful.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it's just so nice to see the, that how the reaction to that liquidity in there.
Yeah, what I want to point out, Bruce, is this liquidity, right?
Yeah,
Where did they go? You see, there's nothing anymore. So they remove that offer and then they can shoot it back up.
yeah, yeah.
So beautiful, really so beautiful.
And it traded 146 liquidity as well.
Yeah. I will try to zoom in over here if I can. You see over here, this level, the 146, 147, they traded. So over here, 64,000 were traded over here, 76,000, pardon. And then, boom, we're starting right now to bounce on that previous resistance and now support. And that's the level where we longed before, was actually here. So let's see if we could consolidate and then long into this area here between 153 and 154.
And then go, if you could go just to the left a little bit below at 146. They like it's kind of, I mean, they did trade there at that 146, I believe. Zoom in previous, just before that. Yeah, no, go forward again, sorry. So that, yeah, right in there, that 146 area there. It's not that much, but they're, they're pushing it into that area. I would imagine there's probably a bunch of iceberg orders there as well.
Yeah. They hold over here 142 and then they start like pushing back up.
Yeah.
Let's see if we start having some liquidity over here jumping in. When we look at this pattern, it seems like all a big setting up over here for the long at 155. Yep. It looks like all a big cup pattern on this break over here. But if you look at the main picture, this seems like our descending triangle over here. So that's our first resistance. That's our second resistance, also big heat map over here. And then we have the previous levels of before. I see buyers over here stepping in, so we can have that push to 160 plus. We'd love to see a squeeze high of day, Bruce.
Yeah, that would be beautiful.
There's a little bit of liquidity, 157. They're moving it. Yeah, this is still like steam to go. This is still like steam to go over here.
I mean, talk about potential manipulations and game theory. I mean, here it is right in front of us. I mean, what more do you how more do you want to visualize it or prove it?
Exactly. So I will share also the charts that Mahabir took, both longs in the room when she's done. But the point is, look at the liquidity that came on that 60 breakout. So now we have 165, 170, and 175. It's very clear over here what they're looking to do. They're looking to trap as much sellers, short sellers they can on these dips over here, 145. And they're just like pushing this back up every single time, every single time. Now, if we base over here 160, then we are above the trend line. Really, we can push to 175 and even new high of day. Base support 159, Bruce. It's basing over here for another push. Let's see. $158, small dip. $160 is finding over here some support. Careful, 157 dip. They're dipping that 90 MA. That's the last spot for trailing. So if it closes below 157, that is the trail or stop maximum break even. All right, Bruce, 11:40, have to get out for an appointment. Any more questions?
No, Tibor, thank you for all your comments in here. And
Thank you very much.
there was a bunch of kind of requests for some other stocks in here, but I didn't want to interrupt you. Going through some of this stuff was really good. So sorry about that, guys. But you know, we can go through stocks on Friday, or maybe next time. Okay, yeah, some nice compliments in here. Rat Race. If you guys like these videos, just give us a like in YouTube, and consider subscribing. You'll get updates on new videos and alerts on when these events unfold. Yeah, I'll put into the chat here. JTrader does offer some mentorship and education. So if you want to reach out to him, I'll give you your contact information here. No, I think we've covered just about everything, Joseph. So you know, thank you very much. An excellent session.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Hope to see you, buddy, at Trader for a Cause. We'll be there the 1st of October, or I will be in Colorado in end of September. So in case you are like those places, will be nice to meet you.
Where exactly is it, Joseph?
Trader for Cause. I will be speaker 1st of October in Las Vegas. And the week before, the week after, I will be in Colorado, in Denver and Aspen. So in case you are like those places, just hit me up and we're going to have something to eat together.
Yeah, I that sounds lovely. Yeah, I don't think I'll be there, but hey, you never know. Maybe I will.
Okay. Thank you very much, traders. Thank you for following. See you guys next week. Thank you, Bruce, Bookmap, and take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Joseph.